Hello, and welcome to Chapter 1 homework. And I'm going to go ahead and go over these as we move forward. The biggest thing that I'm not going to end up doing is if the question kind of repeats something that we previously done, I may decide not to go ahead and do that question again to see how well you can understand and move forward. Alright, starting off, question number 1. With question number 1, we have Nash Trading Post LLC is a private camping ground near the Mount McGill Recreation Area. It has compiled the following financial information. Okay, everything else is a-okay. We're good. We're just going to focus on completing these little items, but we just need the numbers. And here, you don't need the commas. Just put in the number. You should be fine. So first off, they want to determine net income. And we don't have the income statement. That's okay. Remember, net income is revenue minus expenses. Right here, we actually have two revenues. So let's go ahead and add those two together. 640 plus 25,500. So we have a total revenue for this company of 160,140. Don't worry if your numbers do not match mine. They are algorithmic, meaning we're still going with the same principle, just different numbers. Okay? Next, we want to subtract our expenses. They went ahead and just told them all up for us. So this is the number I'm going to subtract. 128,520. Make sure I got the right number. Yep. Cool. Enter. So we had a total income of $31,620 for this company. Okay. Alright. So next, we can move on to the next part, which is the statement of retained earnings. Now, since we're dealing with December 31st, remember, statement of retained earnings and the income statement both have basically for the something ended December or October, November, whatever the month is. If it's a particular month, do it for the month ended. Most likely it's going to be for the year ended if it's dealing with December 31st. And especially since the beginning is January 1st. Retained earnings January 1st. We can find this up here. There it is. 5,100. 5,100. And then since we made a net income, okay, again, most likely you're going to make net incomes. You can hit add. And we're going to add net income of 31,620. So let's go ahead and do that to get this blank. Whoops. 31,620 plus it was 5,100. 36,720. Okay. Next, for the statement of retained earnings, we always subtract out good old dividends. So let's go find out what those dividends were. They were 9,180. Okay. And this will find our ending retained earnings, or basically retained earnings for the balance sheet. So 36,720 minus 9,180. We are left with 27,540. Cool. That's really it for the retained earnings. Not much to it. Just remember, add net income, subtract dividends. Don't forget your beginning and ending. Now, balance sheet. Balance sheet, remember, this is specific. So, it's always specific date, December 31st, 2017. And even here in red, it says list assets in order of liquidity. So remember, liquidity just stands for how quickly can they turn into cash. So we have cash, supplies, and equipment. Again, all those are assets, all of them we own and benefit, and they don't have payable at the end. So, in order of liquidity, of course, cash can be easily converted to cash. Supplies, I can probably convert very quicker than equipment. Usually anything that's considered a fixed asset or property, plant, and equipment will be pretty much dead last. So, cash, supplies, and we'll go ahead and make sure cash is capitalized. And then finally, equipment. Okay, let's go get the totals. So cash was $8,670. Supplies, $5,610. And then equipment, $116,280. Wow, yeah, a lot of equipment. Make sure I got that right. Yep. Cool. And this, of course, is your total assets that are going on. So we need to add all these. So 8670 plus 5610 plus 116280. So we have total assets of 130,560. Not bad. Okay. Next, we have to deal with the liabilities and stockholders' equity section of the balance sheet, which is always liabilities. And if I remember right, we had two accounts payable and notes payable. So let's go look at those. Accounts payable was 11,220. Okay. And notes payable was 51,000. Now, this would make up our total liabilities, and a little bit easier on the math. Basically 62 to 20. Okay. And if you always want to double check, we can always double check. Put it right in the calculator. 62 to 20. Alright. That's only the first part. Next part is stockholders' equity. And that will consist of the common stock and retained earnings. There it is. So, common stock is 40,800, and by then everything should be done up here. So 40,800. Retained earnings, we've already figured out. It is right here in the statement retained earnings. We just use that amount. 27,540. And you can just copy and paste, since basically the number flows if you want to. Now we find our total stockholders' equity by just adding the two. So 40,800 plus 27,540, 68,340. Okay. And next we just add the two. So total liabilities and stockholders' equity. Take 62,220 plus 68,340. I end up with 135,60. And then next up with the balance sheet is always verify. Are these two the same? And yes, indeed, they are exactly the same. So we're good to go. All you have to do is hit submit answer. And it will check. You got 15 tries at this. Believe me, if you're not getting it after the first 2 or 3, send me an email. We'll get you through it, okay? But there we go. It will say your answer is correct. Your answer is correct. So we're all good with this one. I also like these little eyes because it does tell you that there could be another way that you could actually do it. You could put this as a negative. You could have commas if you want to. It's really up to you on those. So question 2. Alright. So question 2. We just have the Pharaoh Company. Your names may be different too. Don't worry about those. We just want to go through the statements. Okay? So again, here's our income statement. So it does say year ending. And we always start out with revenues. Okay? So we only have one revenue this time. In service revenue. Now, as you can see, since we do not have more than one, we can just move it all the way over to the leftmost or rightmost column, and that's it. If we have 2 or more, we have to do total revenues. Again, just showing that we added them together. Same thing that's happening with the expenses. Okay, so we just list them out. So advertising's first. Whoop. That was $2,700. Then we have rent, $15,600. Utilities, $3,600. And salaries and wages expense of $45,123. Okay. This, of course, is our total expense, so we need to add all these expenses together. So we had $2,700 plus $15,600 plus $3,600 and $4,500 at the end. To make $66,900. Not bad. At least the cool thing is that we can already see our revenue is greater than our expenses. So we indeed made a net income. But if you happen to make a net loss, make sure you do parentheses by it. So again, put in parentheses, you're okay. I doubt it that any of y'all gonna have net loss, but never know. So take our revenue minus our expense. We came out with a net income of $20,100. Alright. Next, we're going to again do the statement of retained earnings for the year ended. Beginning retained earnings. Let's go ahead and put in our net income. Since it is an income, we can still add it. If it happens to be a net loss, you do subtract. We'll go ahead and label the rest. Always subtract our dividends. And we create our ending retained earnings. So let's go find our beginning. 105. So 100, 500. Then let's find our dividends. 9,000. Okay. Now all we have to do is do the math. Is basically add them together. 20. I love it when they give us easy math. But of course, I'm going to go ahead and do the calculator just to show y'all. Okay. I would tell you, Desmos, I like it because it has the history, so it always is good. Then minus 9,000. Yeah. So we're left with 111,600. Okay, that's it. We're going to go ahead and submit and see again. They put the I, just a different way to say it. Again, they do it for the expenses also. We can do a negative if we want to. I like you to keep it closer to the real world as the R positive and get used to that when we see these in the real world, you would automatically subtract. And that's it for question 2. Okay. Question 3. Alright. So this is the thing with question 3. It is pretty much question 2 again. The only difference that's going to end up happening is that you have decimals. So for these, you put in just like we did in question 2. But just remember to keep decimal. Only one spot. Okay? One decimal place. That's what they said. So everything's going to be punched in. So for example, again with our revenue, we only have one, which is sales revenue. Okay? And that is 38,018.2. Again, these are our expenses. And this is the thing. There's one expense that we haven't really talked about, and this is going to fall under here for right now, and that is cost of goods sold. Okay? So that would fall under here. Okay? And then you'll list the rest of your expenses. And total them up. Make sure you keep the decimal, one decimal place. Then find your net income, and then go ahead and do the retained earnings. Again, remember, add net income, subtract out dividends. That's it. Okay? Let's see, question 4. There we go. Alright, so thing with question 4, again, we've got, first off, you will categorize everything either as an asset, and remember assets are things we own that provide a future benefit. Liabilities is things that we're going to owe or we're obligated to pay. Stockholders' equity is going to deal with the owner or retained earnings. So usually common stock or retained earnings. Revenue, again, most likely they're going to say revenue for right now. And expense is probably going to say it also. So those two are a little bit easier to do. Again, the only expense that's not going to show up or say expense is cost of goods sold. So again, we will want to select what are they. Okay. And then here, you're again doing an income statement. This time only you have 2 revenues. So you have total revenues. It's the only difference that's going on here. Make sure you add both the revenues and again find your total of expenses and subtract the 2. So again, a lot more repeats. This is chapter 1. A little bit more there. Again, if you have problems, please send me an email and we'll help you through it. Okay? Last one. Question number 5. Okay? This one gives us incomplete financial statements. So all we have to do with this is one, figure out where the blanks are, and then basically go through them. Okay? So first off, retained earnings, right here, this blank, we can actually find because it's always ending retained earnings. So that's right there for us. So let's go ahead and find common stock. Well, we know if we add all these together, it's going to equal to 67,100. So all we have to do is subtract them from the total. So we have 6,000 and 32,100. So it should be 29,000 for common stock. Okay. Then we work a little bit backwards because we have net income missing on both. But this one has one blank where this one has two. So right here we take ending retained earnings, the 32,100, and we basically do the opposite operation. Since we're subtracting dividends, we're going to add it back. So plus 4,780. Okay. And then we're going to subtract out the beginning retained earnings. So 17,100. 19,780. Okay. So that means our net income up here was 19,780. And we do the same thing. We're going to add back our expense that we know, subtract out the revenue. So 19,780, add back 10,290, and then subtract out 84,300. Alright, negative 54,230. So you can either put it in as 54,230, or you can put it in parentheses to match with the other expense. Either way is going to be perfectly fine. Again, submit, find out if everything's good. Look, they even have the eye to show the positive method. Okay? So that's really it for Chapter 1 homework. Again, if I go over a question and basically it's another repeat, just another practice of that, you're more than welcome to ask me a question if you get stuck. But I'm not going to particularly go back over it one more time. I think basically y'all can handle it. And pretty much, again, just let me know if you got questions. Anyway, I will see you for Chapter 2 homework. Okay?